Hello, humans. Oops. I'm sorry.
Wait till it's 20.
No, you just roll with the punch, baby.
Good afternoon, humans. I'm Dana.
And I'm Fatu.
This is another installment of This Could Be a Book
Podcast.
And on today's episode, we're going to do a little extension from the last episode of B.A.N. During that episode, you did discuss that, that you ended up getting a animal, and that there was a situation. I want you to explain it. That's why I said it like that. That there was a situation where you were at an extremely lowly place to where you actually were contemplating not being a part of this life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I felt very stuck, and at this time, I was still very much financially disabled. It's a good one. And so it was almost like there was no peace anywhere, meaning there was no peace at work, there was no peace at home, and those were the only two places that I traveled. And so it was just becoming overwhelmed, and I was like, man, I just need a way out of this. But, at that time, I'm still standing in the forest looking up and can see nothing but the top of trees. I couldn't see the sunlight just yet. And it was the second time in my life that I start coming up with a plan.
First time you were about 7?
Nah, I was a little older than that.
Okay. I don't know why I heard 7. I know you were young.
Maybe
adolescent.
Maybe 9, 10.
Okay.
Not that far from, but yeah.
Okay.
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, you were just explaining that this was the second time.
Yeah.
That you start having these thoughts.
It was the second time. Well, the first time I came all the way up with a plan. This time I was trying to come up with a plan.
Okay, so
I didn't have one finalized just yet, but I knew I was heading in that direction.
Do you remember the emotions that you felt when you decided I need to come up with a plan to do this?
I was numb. There wasn't any emotions other than the depression, the despair. I felt like I was banging, when you see people who are put in a padded room with the jacket on and they're running and they're bumping, trying to get free. It was that type of situation. That's what it felt like.
At that time, you were working without pay, but did you know that EAP existed?
I knew that it existed, but I didn't fully look into the benefits that it could give me.
Okay. So you knew that it was there, but you didn't look into it?
Well, no, because I think even at that moment in time, I knew what it was, but didn't really know that it offered the counseling. And if they're in that particular network, that you could get visits. I didn't even realize any of that.
And nothing in you prompted you to be like, man, I need to explore what this EAP is?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't exploring anything but darkness.
Okay.
Because you don't think about, at that moment, you don't, when you are...
going through it.
Yeah, when you get to that level of low, and speaking for me personally and no one else, you don't think about ways to get out other than death.
Yeah.
And only that particular person knows how short or how long and how often these thoughts come.
Yeah.
Because just like everything else, there's no cookie cutter to anything.
Exactly.
And so for me, it was just it was a long ass period of being alive, and I wasn't really living. I was just alive. Yeah, basically.
So when you said you began to come up with a plan, did you get that plan? Did that plan come like Did you actually fulfill the steps?
I was starting to, yes.
Okay. Are you able to?
No, no. That's not even necessary. I don't want to start thinking about that again. Like the plan and
Okay, so you had the plan, and then what happened?
A friend of mine a dog had puppies, and she sent me a picture, and of course it was all the dogs were the same color except for the one, and instantly I was like, I want that dog. Didn't know if it was a boy or girl. I just knew I wanted that particular dog, and so when I started to like purchase her, I think I got her at 8 weeks. It was just because I was like on a payment plan, so I was just going to get her just so that she could, it brought some type of spark when I saw the picture, like, hey, and I wasn't an animal person before. I did have a dog when I was younger. It's a whole nother story for a whole nother day about my rabbit and my dog. But from a young child and through adulthood, I didn't have, and so I wasn't really what you call like a pet person. If you had it, cool. Unless it's a cat, then I don't have any problems because I'm allergic to cats, and so that would be the only issue that I would have with pets. Until I saw that picture, it was just something almost like life, and really. It really did like create a spark. And so when I went to go get her for what I thought would be a weekend visit, I brought her home and she was like super scared. I was trying not to let her like be in the bed with me because I just am not really big on pets sleeping in the bed with you. But she cried. And she was so little, like I could just hold her basically in my arm. And so then I started to have like, those feelings, those maternal feelings, like I don't want her to cry. It's almost like I don't like when babies cry, other than me wanting to spoil them. But and so I picked her up and like held her in my arms again, and how she snuggled and got comfortable, and then just started snoring, and then like slept through the rest of the night. Then I was like, oh, she likes me. I'm not that horrible ass of a person, because animals and babies know, right? And so then I would have to take her out to go to the bathroom. I would have to bathe her and feed her and do all of these different things. Then it's almost like the wheels of life started to spin, and it didn't take me that long to get attached to her, but it really helped too, though, because by that time, Sharif and Chelsea had already moved out. And so one of my favorite things coming home when they lived with me was when Xavier started to be able to move on his own. He would always come to me. It was almost like he knew what time I would make it home, so he would come to me unless he was asleep or something. And then for a long period of time, I would come home and he would run, Mom! And he'd come, and that was always, the best feeling, but that had gone. So then, as I stated before, I'm living in a house where everybody hates me, but it's benefit from me, so that's always a negative. And then I would come home and then see her little tail wag, because she was happy to see me. And even though still in my dark period of times, she came in handy in a certain aspect of me not wanting a dog in my bed. The dog in the bed kept him out of the bed. So then, he would complain about, the dog being in the bed and, where's he supposed to sleep? And I'm like, well, that's her side of the bed now. She wasn't like, even though she, not for a lack of trying, never under my covers. I would put a cover on top of all of my other covers, and that's what she slept on. So it's like in the bed, but not in the bed, even though it's in the bed, if that makes any sense.
Nah, that's in the bed.
But that's why when we first started coming over, she slept on the little part of the ottoman, because she was so used to used to that contact. And it's not that I even wanted to create that, but it became a barrier. So it saved me in another different kind of way. And even like getting out of the house when I normally would just be working home and any other necessity, which wasn't really that much. I would have to walk her, and so I started to get out of the house and then taking her to the dog park and stuff like that. So it's
you
almost
start
like
to get that vitamin D. You know, vitamin D helps with depression as well.
Yeah.
Okay, look at that.
Yeah. So like I always say, that's my girl. Well, it's my daughters who don't listen, but
so being in that space, feeling like that, and then was it just, you know, having Mazikeen and then one day it clicked, or did it just take time to get out of that, you know, take time of being around Mazikeen, getting out of the house, getting that vitamin D?
Yeah, it took time, but it was a reason to keep moving and keep pushing forward.
Was there a moment where you can acknowledge that you were present enough to say, "Man, I'm out of it"?
Without realizing it, yes. But really, when it clicked for me is I went back. I have been going back to the same dog park, you know. And, you know, you start frequenting places and the dogs play together. You start to meet people. And, you know, I don't like peopling.
Peopling?
I don't like peopling. I don't like, you know, socially antisocial. But I found myself, there was, I think I have a video. She was playing with some dogs. They were all bigger than her. And talking to the people, and then laughing because she was the smallest one, but one of them was like not really aggressive, but you know, messing with her and like twice her size, and she's not backing down. And then I'm laughing, and then it just clicks. Yeah. Okay. Little mutt, you just saved my life.
When you heard your laughter?
Yeah.
Your own
own laughter
woke you up.
Yeah.
Wow. And I always say laughter is the best medicine when taking
Soothes the
place
soul.
daily.
Yeah.
Should definitely laugh. Find some time to laugh. I'm talking about that hard laugh to where you gotta, oh my God, like you want to stop laughing.
No,
it's
like you gotta
so
pee
much.
and you got tears.
No, not even that one.
Hitting people because it's so funny. No,
I'm
funnier
talking
than
about
that.
the one with, man, the one where it's hurting you because you're laughing and you need to stop laughing because you in so much pain.
No, because the more
But
you
you
say
can't
stop
stop
laughing, you keep
'cause
laughing.
It's so funny. It was shoot. It don't matter what you do. It's just so funny.
Piece of tissue.
That you keep laughing. Yeah.
Dana is sick, y'all. That's why she sounds the way she
It's my
sounds.
allergies. At this point, I'm no longer all of that.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm past that. It's just allergies. But yeah, you know, man, y'all know what I'm talking about. That laughter, you be like, oh my God, Jesus, who is hurt? I need to
No,
stop.
I don't think I mean, like you die laughing.
Man, I don't know about dying laughing, but I know that you laughing so hard that your chest literally hurts, and you want to stop laughing, but you can't because it's so funny. I can't wait till
I'll have to
you reach that
experience it.
realm of laughter.
Yeah.
You
I mean, I've
definitely-
had some laughing.
You definitely gotta share that laugh.
Okay.
Cause see,
I
right
look
now
forward
you
to
ain't
it.
feeling me.
No, because I never almost died laughing.
Man, I don't know what was going on. I was just like, oh Lord, if you know, people be like, Lord, if you get me through this. I was like, Lord, if you get me through this laugh.
She's on her own, guys. We'll let her simmer it down a little bit over here. With the laughing,
Okay, so you say you laughed your way through it, and
no, the laugh,
the
my
laughter
hearing
came
my
out,
own
yeah.
laughter, hearing my own laughter is when I realized that I've been in the sun. I've been being seen by the sun, if that makes any sense. And I wasn't just going home and sitting in the room you know, that routine. I was going home and looking forward to going home to get her and take her on a walk because, you know, she didn't want to be on the leash, so it was always a fight, and each time we would go a little bit further. But yeah, and then I have 1,000,001 videos and photos on my phone because I would record her all the time, then go back and then be smiling and laughing. So I still do that, by the way.
So since then,
Yeah.
since the day after broke and the floodgates of life began to fill your lungs and your life again, have you had those thoughts?
Off and on. Just when it seems like every fucking thing is failing. Until I snap out and realize that things are failing and things are getting lost because that's how it's supposed to be. I really feel like I'm on my second chance of life. No, I would say my third. Childhood and then straight up adulthood, and then here I go into, you know, fine wine aged hood. You know, I do feel like it's almost like the not the whole rebirth crap. That's not crap either, but you know, I just feel like I yes, like all of my old shedded, and then like here's brand new, even all the way down to having to change my number. If that makes any sense. Like I've had that number, I got that number ironically when I had to change my number prior to because of, you know, stalking issues. And so when I got that number, it was easy for me to remember, and I stuck with it because then it was like, you know, I'm tired of change my number to benefit someone else, because then it's a hassle to not only think about every little thing that's attached to your phone number, and you have to go in and change that, and you gotta let people know, and you know, sometimes it's good because you weed out the people that you don't want to have access to you through your phone anymore. But after this last little ridiculous text messages and all of that, when I think I was in class, that was on Wednesday, and you said, why don't you change your phone number? I had already been thinking about it. And so that was almost like confirmation. That's why it was such an easy yes, I want to change it. It was just about when to change it. And then I started getting more of the text messages, like in the middle of the night and back to back to back. And so then I was like, yeah, let's do it. We had gone into Verizon for one thing and took care of everything that needed to be taken care of, almost. But everything that I had going into that marriage or that season of my life, with the exception of having that Verizon account and even having the Bank of America, which I think I've told you several times that I just want to close it, but I'm just hanging on for one specific reason. But I'm even letting that go. The job, anything from that old season, I'm not really hanging on to. If it's not of importance, I'm not hanging on to it. And so it gives me almost like if I had hair, I could fling it and I could flip it, you know, a new feeling. And with that new feeling, it's almost like I can feel myself telling me, come on, you know, we got this. You know, yeah, it's hard, and it's almost like with every, and if I'm exaggerating, please let me know, with everything that I have gone through, when I am trying to push forward in life, there's always a pushback. I always have to work double and triple time to get something that I need, not even that I want, but that I need, and I have to fight for it. And so I always say, like, why me? Like, why do I always have to fight? I'm tired of fighting. I just want ease. I always talk about how people who are not good people, they get shit easy and it comes to them. So fuck it, I'm gonna stop being a nice person, you know, and just so I can have my way. And of course, I'm pretty sure by now, you know, it's just me and frustration, because as easy as I probably could be, you know, a not nice person and all of that, if my shit is already rocky and roady now and I'm being good, what is it gonna be when karma comes back to visit me? It's gonna be thrice the devastation, and I mean, I don't want that.
Yeah, that's why I'm always with positive words, you know.
Sometimes it be working my nerves, y'all. I'm not gonna lie.
Even when it's funny because even when I'm feeling negative, the words that come out of my mouth are positive. Like, that's an amazing person. That's a cool person. That's a nice person. When it's not truly what I think of that person. You know, we've read in the Word 100 billion zillion times about how powerful words are, and that words are actually life and death is in the power of your tongue. And so I've made the choice to always try to be on some kind of positive words, even when it's something that I don't feel positive about. I just need to speak that positivity. If anything, just to get myself over the hump of the negative feeling that I feel. Because I am learning to be present with my emotions, allowing myself to feel, because I'll feel, but I think the longest I probably felt maybe a minute and 30 seconds, because it's just in my DNA to, what am I going to do to get out of this? What are the steps to get past this? Because emotions do nothing. They're just emotions. You just feel them. They have no action to them. And I need action. I need some steps to get past this. If it's something that you've done, then how do I get over it? How do I get through it? How do I get under it? Or whatever it is.
Like, just to the other side.
Yeah, I need to get to the other side. And sitting and soaking in this emotion too long is not productive for me. And but I'm learning. It's one emotion at a time that I attempt to spend more time in that emotion before I move on. So
how does that feel?
Like trying to be present in my emotions.
Yes.
Like a wave, because I'm mostly like water. Like, you know, that's my sign. I'm a water sign, Scorpio. So I can be very, very still. As you say, I can be stoic.
Very.
But there are a lot of emotions that that I'm thinking about, or a lot of thoughts, shall I say, that are transpiring in my head. But a lot of times, when you say that I'm being stoic or I'm not answering fast enough, I'm processing my response or my thoughts, which is an extreme difference from the Dana that I used to be. Oftentimes I'd be like, man, I wish I could see the Dana that I used to be and how fast I used to respond without much thought. And now I think heavily. Part of being analytical too is that I think heavily when things
your brain is heavy
before I respond. And you know what, it just came to my head. What it is that I've been praying for emotional intelligence and to have a poker face. And it was just so crazy. I was just like at work and I was writing an email, and I promise y'all, it felt like a light literally went on. Like a light went on. And I just became all of a sudden more patient. I know that don't make sense. Y'all think I'm tripping, but that's literally what happened. I became more patient. I became more calm in my thinking and how I respond to certain situations. I've always been a smiler. My children make fun of me and say I smile too much. Even when I'm mad, I be smiling. They don't know whether I'm happy or sad, mad, upset, or whatever, because I'm always smiling. And they ask me, why you smile so much? And I'm always like, because I'm looking down at the dirt, not up at it. So that in itself is a reason to smile, right? But I'm just a smiler. That's what I do, even in being sarcastic. You know, a smile is better than a frown. And I just literally remembered last week when you were at school and you were frustrated and you wanted to leave, and I told you to smile.
Yes.
Just, you know, you change the atmosphere of wherever you are, because that's how powerful you are. Is that no matter what's going on, like, you are the captain of the emotional ship of any space that you hold. And, you know, has the suicidal thought ever came to mind? Yes. Did I ever get to the point where I thought of a plan? No. Did I ever get to the point to where I needed to seek help for what I was feeling? No, but I did have to go to the source and pray about it. And I started thinking, like, when did this start coming around? Who was around me? Because I'm very big on energies, and, you know, people touching you. That's part of the reason people that know me know that I'm not a toucher, because spirits transfer. I'll say something very funny right now. Y'all know that Denzel Washington movie?
Yeah.
With him and the dude that was married to Roseanne Arnold on that TV show, Roseanne husband. Tom Arnold. The movie with Denzel and Tom Arnold, and I even got like chills thinking of it right now when he's singing, "Time is on your side." Yes, it is. And the spirit, it's this crazy movie.
Spirit is jumping, right?
Yeah, and the spirit jumping to the cat. So ever since watching that movie, it just confirmed my thought process of spirits transfer. So I don't really like to touch people. I don't like for people to touch me, because I don't need their spirits to transfer. And I used to always say, like, y'all don't believe that, but what if somebody have a suicidal spirit and then they touch you, and now you have thinking about suicide and that never crossed your mind before? So then I started thinking, hey, who touched me? Where'd that come from? Because that's not a part of anything that I thought before. So yeah, it came and it went, and then that's when I started thinking, like, man, we got this whole EAP resource. This gotta help for something. It's gotta do something, because I can't be having these kind of thoughts. And so that's when I started utilizing EAP, and I found out how beneficial it is. What's amazing is how Harris County Department of Education's EAP works. Like, they have a bomb plan.
I mean, one would think they would have to. You ever thought about it that way?
No, I never did. I can understand what you're saying, but yeah, like, so the person that's employed there can seek help. Then, you know, you can seek help for one issue, and then if you have another issue, you can seek help for that issue as well. It's just not like straight 4 or 5 visits and that's it for the whole year. What's also cool about it is that family members can seek help under your plan as well. Significant others and spouses. But what was cool is that significant others can seek help, because for the most part, you know, with insurances, they have to be wife, husband, something like that. But the fact that I can call in and say that my girlfriend needs some emotional assistance, let's talk to her, let's get her all signed up and get her ask a few questions and try to get someone connected to her. And what I love about it is that they make you feel safe enough. Well, I know, you know, the representatives that I've spoken with have made me feel safe enough to where I felt comfortable saying what I wanted. You know, like, I wanted a woman counselor. I wanted a lesbian Christian woman counselor. I wanted someone that was in my age bracket, you know, no one over 50 years old. Because at times, we don't feel like that we can actually receive all those things that we're asking for. Kind of like, you know, when you go to the doctor and you just go to the doctor that they send you to, instead of saying, you know, I want to go to a woman doctor. I want to see a woman that's this age, you know, this type of woman. shout out to Kelsey Siebel, because there was this Asian, my Asian doctor who had a conversation with me about saying, like, you need to ask for specifically what you want. And I hated that he retired, but what he did was always make me want to ask for a male doctor, until I ended up with 7 fibroids, and I had to have a partial hysterectomy, and I had she wasn't an actual doctor.
Nurse practitioner?
Yeah, she was an African lady that was a nurse practitioner. And when I tell you, she was so kind and gentle and understanding of me, man. I used to travel when I worked in Tyler. I used to travel back to Houston just so I could specifically go to her for whatever was ailing me, because she had that good of a bedside manner. Sorry.
Okay.
Went off on a tangent about that.
It's okay.
You say that you have the thoughts, silly.
You can still go.
You have those thoughts every now and again. And then when you do have those thoughts, you say you revert back to calming yourself.
Self-calming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think about something else. I may then choose that time to, listen to music. I do something to revert my brain to something else instead of thinking about that, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I don't know if it's me being just me, but a lot of times now when I'm feeling that way, when I'm sitting at home, and I just noticed this earlier this week. No, because you've been here the majority of this week, so it had to be last week. When I get really sad, one day I was watching, it was some commercial came on and the song was, sad, and I started crying. Mazakine was like running through the house playing or whatever. And I don't know if she ran through and she saw me. I don't know, because I wasn't crying out loud, but she literally, like, I was sitting on my side of the bed, so I was up in the bed and she was running back and forth. And the next thing I knew, she was on my lap. And first of all, I was like, not how, because I'm pretty sure I've seen her jump in the bed trying to chase Xavier. But I didn't see her come up. The only time it snapped that she was there when she was sitting on my lap and she started like she was crying, and it's almost like she must have seen me crying. That's the first thing that I thought. She must have seen me. So, but when I am home, I try not to sit or lay in the bed. There's often times where I will go and, just sit in the little living room area, but for the most part, I'm sitting on the bottom of the ottoman. And if I'm sad, even if I'm not crying, I'm just sad, all of a sudden I'll come and I'll feel her. Like, hey, I'm here, it's okay. Then I get sad because I feel like I make her sad because she gives me the sad face. Then I say, you want to go for a walk? Because I know that, that will snap me back, whether it's cold or not. I just put the heated jacket on. And then her excitement about when I say go outside, and she start running back and forth. And if I take too long, she start barking at me like, I know you said was going on a walk. You said outside, woman, take me. But it's almost that nudge again. It's like a constant reminder. She is. But that tripped me out, that I didn't see her and crying over a stupid commercial. I don't even remember what the damn commercial was. It could have been a Nationwide or Limu Emu, whatever. I don't even know. I was watching that show that you have me watching.
The Foster?
Yeah.
Okay. The Fosters can take you on an emotional roller coaster depending on the space that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think at that point I was in my annoyance phase. Just some of the drama, but I guess that's what rich people go through, rich kids go through.
You see them as rich?
They were comfortable. They weren't what would be considered poor. They didn't know they weren't poor.
Right. I think they're comfortable. I don't see them as rich.
I mean, she threw the quinceañera party.
You don't have to be rich to throw a quinceañera.
No, what I'm saying is she was complaining about money. Then she was still buying stuff, and it just never. Anyway, regardless of what it seemed like, it was just some problems that Anyway, the one girl was getting on my nerves. And so I wasn't like in that emotional space of, because I have been through several emotional spaces watching it, and typically I'll just pick up my phone and start to look at it or something. But the commercial came on, and the commercial made me sad. And it's just weird. Anyway.
I'd like to ask this as this episode is coming towards closer to the end.
Yeah.
Let's just say I'm somebody that's stuck, that's that depressed,
Mm-hmm.
and stuck. And you're my friend, and this is my first time expressing this. I feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable to you, to tell you that, like, I'm really not certain that my life is worth living anymore.
I would first inquire is if you are talking to me to vent, especially in this type of seriousness. Are you looking for, of course I'm always a safe space, but are you looking for me to give my opinion or offer my help or just listen? Because there's 3 different stages. You know, when you start to tell people how you feel, most people, because they're not in your shoes, they don't understand how deep it goes with you. And so they will say things that may not necessarily be harsh, but it's not what you're prepared to hear, which will send you further down in that rabbit hole. So you want to know how far you should go. Like, I'm gonna always say across the board though, you know, your life matters. You know, you are valuable, you are loved, and you should be here. And then I would listen and then respond to how you are ready for me to respond at that moment. Meaning, do you want me to say, yeah, you been a dumbass, that ain't nothing. You know, not saying it's to that degree, but some people can be to that degree. Or if you just want me to listen to you, hold your hand, and let you vent it out. Because sometimes getting it out helps a person process. So it's not always just hearing words spoken back to you. It's as you speak, and because you're the first to hear, it's out loud to someone else, so it makes your wheels start to spin. Or do you want me to say, okay, you need a break, what can I come do to relieve you of this, that, and the third, so that you can take that break to get your thoughts and emotions together.
I need a break. What do I do in a break? I've never taken a break before.
You do whatever you want to do, with the exception of killing your damn self. If you want to go and sit out in the park and stare at the ducks all day, you do that. If you don't want to leave the house, then you do that, you know, and then you put a time frame on it. And then you start day by day and day by day. You know, it just, you know, certain things can be, not everything is the same, of course, across the board of what is overwhelming to someone or not. It could be kids. It could be, you know, I can't seem to get ahead on this laundry. I can't seem to keep, you know, one thing about me is I can figure out by some of my patterns of what I do, whether or not I'm in depression or not. And when I start to recognize those things, helps me. So you could take a break and go sit and have a drink. You can smoke a blunt. You can do both of those things combined. You could just sit in a dark room in silence. You could write, you can sing, you can dance like everybody, but nobody is watching. There's always things that you do. Whatever your break is for you is what that break should be.
No, I need a break. I've heard you describe all these different kinds of breaks. But I don't know which one worked for me or which one I should be doing because I've just been so down in the dumps.
But you can't break like me. You have to break what would make you. Like, what type of break do you need right now? First step is thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because what works for me may not work for you.
Right.
Because we're not we may have similarities, we may have the same likes, but what would, if I could afford it, I probably would be covered in tattoos because that's one of the things that helps me. It's a little bit painful, but it also feels good, and the sounds are calming.
So, I would.
Has anybody ever spoken those words to you before?
What?
Like, you matter, you are loved,
Yeah.
you are here.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to hear those words? Did it come from someone that it meant something, or did it come from you know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah. So, my mom is affectionate. She doesn't like touch. She's not touchy feely, but she's very affirmative.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty. You cute. That was funny. Do that again. Oh man, that's so awesome. You did that. You're so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Not only my mom, some of my family members, my grandma, my mom's mom, my aunt Terry. So I had that in my life, and then I had that in my schooling as well. I had a lot of teachers that spoke life into me. Shout out to Coach Williams, Harriet Williams. Shout out to Amanda Mandy Kane Piper. I gotta make sure I say it in order. Who would have knew that I'd be in education? Oh my God. Shout out to my 9th grade English teacher, Miss Baracino. Man, hold up. That lady made me read Lord of the Flies. And I was just like, man, I don't want to read no book about it. Man, look here, I don't want to read that book. And she would do that little church pitch.
Oh, no.
And she was the smallest little Caucasian lady. And
She knew about the underarm pension.
Yeah, but I think that's what made our relationship, made us bond, was because she did that little, to me, I call it the church pinch, but she did that little pinch to me and said, oh, you're going to read this book and you're going to do well,
Yeah.
And you're not going to just give me some kind of puff. And she would hold me accountable, tell me, you didn't read that, you didn't do your best. And, her and...
she poured into you.
Yeah, Miss Turtle.
Not Miss Turtle.
Yeah, Miss Turtle. It was just amazing. My math teacher, my whole 5th grade, all of my teachers during my 5th grade year, oh my God, man, Eckert Intermediate hired some amazing people
still there?
who truly love their job. I don't know, I have to go see if they still there. But when I tell you, them people poured into us as kids, and they dealt with America's best and brightest, because we were straight out of Acres Home and Greens Point.
It probably
We was as inner city was gonna get. And those people first loved, then they cared, then they nurtured, then they inspired.
Shout out to all the good teachers.
Yeah, man.
Who not just collecting the paycheck.
We talk
and
about
being
it all the
zookeepers.
time, about
Yeah.
how teachers are the only profession that you teach every other profession.
Right.
There's that.
And
U.S. government, we need an increase.
I would say, but severely underpaid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know what I do. Thank you for opening up about suicide and how it made you feel and your thoughts on that.
Yeah, always speak to people. Somebody is willing. In my case, I didn't think anyone was willing to listen. But the most important person that I listened to was me. Because sometimes I dig in and I will not be defeated. And sometimes that's an attitude that will get you places where you think that you don't belong, or spaces where you think you can't go. Even if it's calling the suicide hotline and talking to a stranger because they don't know you, so you could just say what you need to say, and get that help if there's no one around you that you are not comfortable with. You don't have a tribe. You know, if you're the lone ranger.
Wolf.
Shut up.
That's what's up.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
So that's what's up. Like, yeah.
So, you know, always before you get to the very end of not only making a plan, but going through with the plan, just try. That's all I can say, because even though you may not think that you are here for a reason, you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a mouth breather. So, a mouth breather.
Ubuntu.
Ah, yeah.
We need you.
And
You
verily
are
with
important.
difficulty there
And you
comes
are loved.
ease. So, thank y'all for tuning in and listening to this latest installment of This Could Be a Book podcast.